for the House Judiciary Committee.
Let's check in now with Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt, a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. So, sir, welcome, and thanks so much for coming on. Can we get your top-line thoughts of how you think it's going so far, if you've had a chance to ask or even listen into some of the line of questioning?
Yeah, I've been in the committee hearing. I'm actually, after I'm done talking to you guys, I'll go in and ask my questions. But I think Kash Patel has delivered on the promise of President Trump as relates to the FBI on crime fighting, moving a lot of the agents and resources away from going after Catholics and going after parents who show up to school board meetings and political, debts that they were trying to settle under the Biden administration. They're actually in communities doing the work of combating violent crime. I'll just, from a personal example, my hometown of St. Louis, the FBI has moved the largest per capita infusion of permanent FBI agents anywhere in the country to work with local and state officials to take on violent crime, and that's happening in other places too. So that's been a lot of what he's talked about, a lot of the questions that have been asked. But of course, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, there's a lot of topics that will be addressed, and one of the things that I'm going to ask about is what we're going to do to uproot some of these left-wing terrorists who are hell-bent on destroying our country. And I'm not talking about speech, I'm talking about conduct here. And I think when you see numbers like 25% of self-described very liberal citizens think that political violence is justified to achieve political ends, that's very troubling. And when the Democrats, everybody's an existential threat to the Republic and democracy, and everybody's a fascist and a Nazi, and the assassin writes, catch this fascist on the bullet. There's a real sickness on the left here that has to be addressed. So for my part, free speech, yes, no political violence under any circumstances, but we have to tell the truth about what's going on, the radicalization on the far left and this justification that we've seen for political assassinations. There's just no place for it in our country.
What ultimately do you make of how this investigation so far has been handled by Kash Patel? Obviously, he's gotten some criticism from the left. Are you pleased with how that's going in terms of the investigation?
I mean, it appears as though they got the guy who committed the assassination in clear view. I mean, this was, in my view, if you think about it, Charlie Kirk was really the embodiment of the First Amendment in this great experiment, the free exchange of ideas. He had a microphone. He gave somebody else a microphone. He was killed for it, quite literally shot in the throat. And I just think that in order for this republic to survive, we have to embrace the ideals that Charlie Kirk embraced, which is we got to be fearless, and we got to continue to make the case and persuade people. If we do that, we'll be okay. But we also, I'm not buying into this both sidesism right now. You're really seeing this from the radical left. This is a sickness, and it's growing on the left, and it has to be confronted. And so do I want us to unify as a country? Of course. I don't know how you unify with people who celebrate a man's death like that, a father, a Christian, a husband. And I think that, scary, in a very scary way, people are seeing people like, their teachers and people who work, their neighbors are being exposed on social media now for this really dark way of viewing the loss of a human life.
It's very telling, some of the thoughts that people write down and then hit publish on for social media. It's just eye-opening. By the way, those who might celebrate the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I wanted to focus in on crime just for a bit, more broadly speaking, since, of course, you mentioned Missouri, my hometown of St. Louis County, St. Louis, as well. The president has said that he plans to send National Guard troops to Memphis, Tennessee, of course, a blue city in a red state. Would that be something that, if he were to focus in on St. Louis, we know there's a crime problem there, you'd be in support of?
Well, I think what we've already actually kind of got out in front a little bit, and with this, I mean, early on in Kash Patel and with Pam Bondi, in their confirmations, they talked about getting more people and personnel out into, the rest of the country. And I said, I've got just the place for you, and it's in St. Louis. And so we've seen that, and I would expect to see more of it. I think, D.C. was kind of a unique example as it relates to National Guard. The National Guard can support law enforcement in different places,